Hello, everybody. Welcome back to
Hello.
Gooner Gathering. Lee's microphone is working now, and that's
Welcome back to Gooner Gathering. Gooner Lee Meads in position, joined by the posh man in all the sports entertainment, Posh Bertie. How are you, sir?
I was about to do your intro for you because I thought you muted, but yeah, no, I'm doing great, thank you. Good to be
I
here.
can hear you. I could hear you off air. I can't hear you now. Oh, I don't believe this.
Should you be able to can you hear me now?
It's got to be my end, Posh. It's not you. It's not you. Right. Okay.
Because I could hear myself perfectly fine when I watched it back on Sunday.
Abandon that. Abandon that. Take it.
Okay,
Take it.
can you hear me now? Brilliant. It's going very well. Anyway, hopefully, providing we get these issues sorted out, we will, of course, be discussing the ever so tense, shouldn't have been that tense, but still tense either way, win on Sunday regarding the North London derby between Arsenal and Tottenham, in which Arsenal just about triumphantly won 3-2. And yeah, it definitely the last 10 minutes wasn't nervous at all, eh? Oh dear. Anyway, yeah. So I'm doing well. Emerson Cozier is in the chat saying, "Good evening, Lee and Posh Bertie. I'll give you an academy update during the show. No worries, my friend." While Lee sorts his technical problems out, I'll go into what I was thinking before the match took place. I saw the team lineups come in, and it was exactly what I wanted. I wanted to see an unchanged side. I wanted to see an unchanged side over the game against Chelsea. I wanted to see the midfield again of Partey, Rice, and Odegaard, and that was what we got. We got the exact same team, and that's what I wanted, and that was great. I mean, it was always going to be very difficult. It was always going to be very difficult against Tottenham anyway, but as long as we had the same lineup as we did against Chelsea, then that was fine. That was all good because it made me a little bit more confident. It's all right saying that when we're winning, but it made me a little bit more content seeing that the same lineup, the lineup that we absolutely blitzed Chelsea for. So yeah, the game kicked off. Oh, he's back. Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, here we go. Okay, brilliant.
The minute I hit go live, everything just failed. Right. Okay. Okay, we're good.
I was just talking about the team lineups.
Yeah, go ahead, keep on going, mate.
I was just saying how I wanted to see the side that we beat Chelsea, where we beat Chelsea, and I got my wish. What did you make of the team lineup, Mr. Meadows?
Let me just sort of give myself a bit of heart massage. I might need it. I think of just. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Actually, I was very pleased with it. I think for me, before we went live on Sunday, there was 3 question marks I had. One was left back. One was in a midfield partner next to Rice and Odegaard, and the other one was who would go up front with Kai and Saka. Now, it would be wrong of me, Posh, to say that I have been Trossard's biggest advocate, because that wouldn't be right. I've had moments where I thought, well, he's had moments in starting lineup where it's not gone great. But over the last month or so, I think he's showing absolutely his quality. He's probably done it more than that, to be fair. But because I like Martinelli, but because Martinelli's had his injuries, Trossard, of course, has had that place on that left-hand side of the starting lineup, and yeah, very pleased with it. Now, I had a question with Partey if he could go another game after being on the starting lineup so long for Chelsea. He did great. He did great against Chelsea, and there he was in the starting lineup again. And I've gone on record in saying that Trossard, get this right. Tomiyasu is by far, at the moment, the most capable left back that we have playing at the moment. That situation may change. I would suggest probably next season as opposed to this. We'll get to that in a minute because I'm going to ask the Timber question in a bit. But for the starting lineup, Posh, I had no qualms with it at all. And I think if I remember correctly doing the live, I don't think you did either.
The lineup. Yeah, as I was saying, I was very pleased with the lineup. I wanted to see an unchanged side, and I got that.
Yeah, completely. And I think we couldn't have asked for a better start, really. It's funny if you've watched any of it back from our point of view and looking at the actual footage of the game, because we called it.
Yeah.
Or indeed I did. With the Saka corner, I was saying, BX, good to see you in the chat. Hello, mate. It's good to see you. So my head, well, in preparation, let's be fair, in preparation for doing the watch along on Sunday, I wanted to watch us back and watch the game back. And it's funny how things repeat on yourself, right? And we were calling, maybe Spurs can concede an own goal just like Lloris did. Completely in jest, of course. And then, of course, Saka's corner came in. I want to make sure I give so much credit to Højbjerg because he beat everybody in that penalty area. He rose above everybody. It was a magnificent header. It's just a shame for him it was in the wrong net for it, wasn't it?
Superb header from Højbjerg, one of the best I've seen in a long time. He gave us the lead, 1-0 to Arsenal. Couldn't have asked for a better start, really. But as I said, even though we were going to be 1-0 up, Spurs weren't going to lie down. They were going to try and persevere. John Cena and all that, rise above hate, never give up, etc. Do. And that's what they did. It was always going to be tough for us, but I was pleased we were in the lead. But the game certainly wasn't over yet, was it?
No, completely. And perhaps for the next 10 minutes after we scored, I felt the Spurs got themselves very much back in the game without having anything in front of me. Ladies and gentlemen, I had such a busy day. We'll get into it in just a bit. But it seemed like a long period of that first half where after we scored, nothing was going right. Bit like this stream at the start, to be honest.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost identical. And if I remember things chronologically, before we got our second goal, there was a goal disallowed from Tottenham, which we probably need to talk about.
Yes, that was Mickey van der Ven, who we thought he scored, got the equaliser, and then it was checked by VAR. From a certain angle, it did look offside. It was very tight, in my opinion. I thought VAR got that decision right. I think it was offside, but only just. You can see it certainly wasn't it wasn't so obvious to say it was offside, but very tightly it was, I think. So yeah, I thought they got it right, and I know a lot of Tottenham fans will be saying, "Oh, we were robbed." No, stop crying. It was offside. Okay, it was just about offside. If Gabriel was a bit leaned back a bit to the other side, that goal probably would have been the equaliser. But it was great bit of defending from him. Bit like how he stopped Garnacho's goal against United back in September.
Exactly. The point I was going to make. It's funny how we've gone into different roles all of a sudden, isn't it? But yeah, I'd agree with you in that. I'd actually say it might have been really good defending from Arsenal. Oh, I moved without touching the thing. Thank you, Bosh. Because if you look at it, it was almost like it was. You mentioned it, September, Man United, when we all thought. Certainly, you did because you went on an absolute rant for about a minute afterwards. Before I told you to calm down a little bit, but
it looked onside. I remember.
Yeah, it was that close. It was that close. But you're right. But how well did our backline and Gabriel, again in particular, do well to sort of move his body to step up a little bit, make sure the player was offside. I thought that was fantastic defending, kind of what you'd expect from us. Because if you look at and I don't like bringing the word stats up with you because I know you're going to sort of shudder at me. But all I mean when I say stats is clean sheets and goals.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Those are stats that matter.
Precisely. And I thought it was a magnificent piece of defending. Quiet talk, if they meant it. But we'll take it. And the next bit of action we can talk about is how the build-up happened for the second goal for Arsenal. And it's quite interesting looking back at the footage of it. I think I called it in play because what happened was there was a bit of an iffy challenge in the Arsenal penalty box. I can't remember if it might have been Rice. I'm not 100% sure on it.
Yeah.
Without looking back on any notes and anything, it might have been a challenge on who would it have been now? Because Richarlison
was it Kulusevski? Was it that potential penalty appeal?
Right, that's absolutely right. It's Kulusevski. Perhaps if you wanted to look from an objective point of view, you might suggest Kulusevski might have been a bit too honest. But the play progressed, and all of a sudden there's I want to quickly mention the work rate of Kai Havertz because he was in a sort of left midfield sort of position as this play developed, and then all of a sudden, after that counter attack, Kai received that ball on that left hand side. He just picked out an absolute spectacular ball. I'm not even exaggerating. I thought it was beautifully played to Saka, who, the minute he got hold of that ball, and you saw he was against Ben Davies, the left back who's come in because of an injury. We all knew what was that he was going to try and do. It didn't seem like he did, but then all of a sudden, after a little bit of trickery, Saka managed to get the ball onto his strong left foot, hit that ball into the corner. And look, it was 2-0. Yeah, Spurs might complain. It might have been a penalty up the other end. And I'm sure they would have looked at it. But let's not take away from the two players that I've just mentioned. Havertz spraying that beautiful pass from left to right. And Saka, who I think before the match, we were talking about the fact that needs a big game in that North London derby, needs to produce the goods. And I think he done it just there.
That was actually one of the best assists I've seen. from an Arsenal player this season, probably behind Odegaard's brilliant through ball against Chelsea. So, but that was a magnificent ball over the top from Kai Havertz. He found Saka perfectly well, and he ran almost the length of the pitch, beat 2 defenders, and he just calmly slotted the ball in the back of the net. I wanted to see Saka have a good game. I wanted to see him turn up because it's been a while since he had a decent game, and it has been a while. And and he did slotted it in the back of the net, and I'm very pleased for Saka. He got a long-awaited goal that has been a long time coming, and it was 2-0. We had a 2-goal cushion. The game wasn't over yet. No matter how many goals we'd score, we still had to keep fighting. And look, 2-0, it's great. That's all we could ask for. Trossard's first incident. Rice was the other incident. Okay. Yeah. But look, regardless, we were winning 2-0, and we had a 2-goal cushion, but the game was still going to be tough. We still had to have our work cut out, didn't we?
Of course we did. It's the North London derby, isn't it? But it's funny. It's funny how what's the word I'm looking for? Karma. That's the word I'm looking for. Could come back to bite you. And if you look back on the footage of the game, and you look at the stick that Declan Rice had to put up with before he took the corner for the 3rd goal, I think it was a thing of beauty. That header from Kai as well, magnificent. And it's quite funny me watching it back because I put the shorts together because I know full well, just like what's just happened at the start of this stream, right? Your mic was working fine. I couldn't hear you through my headphones, and you were working fine, and you were doing your utmost just jump up and celebrate. But good on Kai. So if you heard from the post-match comments from Mikel Arteta, you would know.
No. You mentioned the abuse that Declan Rice got before the corner. They were doing the same with Saka. They were chanting, "You let your country down," referencing his penalty miss against Italy.
Yeah.
And then he took the corner, and Højbjerg scored a spectacular finish. And that was more karma, I think, for the tolerant Spurs fans there.
I've seen this. Maybe the match beforehand as well. Certainly, there's a highly influential, I would say, person from the Chelsea side on X, and I won't give her any credit for it because she may well have put some of the Saka hot sauce down the blimmin' toilet. But it's funny how things come back to bite you, isn't it?
Well, yes, but we're talking about the Spurs game rather than the Chelsea game, you know.
Of course, but it's appropriate because the guys involved in the corner were, for the Saka one you just mentioned, Declan for the one here for the 3rd goal.
Yeah,
it was funny. They were getting the abuse right in front of them. But then all of a sudden, there it is, ball in the net, 3-0, happy days. And, of course, nothing would go wrong from that. Everything was nice and calm. And it was an easy victory in the end.
I'll be honest, even going into the second half, I was still super nervous, even being 3-0 up, because it's still going to be tough. But, it was so... But regardless, it was so nice going 3-0 up in the North London derby, in Tottenham's ground. Half-time. Feels good, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's one of the nice things in football. You can't get enough of moments like that. And it's, considering the time lapse between the time where we've done back-to-back North London derby wins at Spurs as well. It's definitely been a while until we've done that one. And it was so nice at half-time to go in at 3-0, we didn't have it all our own way. Let's get that right, because we may have rode our luck between the first goal and the second goal when Spurs did get themselves back into the game. But the half-time whistle blew. We're going in for half-time at 3-0. Now, second half, in the words of a Spurs great, a Chelmsford City icon over where I am, in Jimmy Greaves, once said, "Football, it's a funny old game, isn't it?" Now, let's go through and dissect a little bit what on earth happened with the Spurs goal that got them back into the game. A back pass that Raya, let's be fair, he received it. He attempted to clear it. He didn't get the elevation on the ball that he wanted to. And of course, it fell to Emerson Royale, of all people.
Romero.
Christian Romero. Christian Romero. That's what I mean. I'm flustered without my notepad, I tell you. After everything, how this has started, it's going well. Christian Romero, what on earth he was doing up there, I'm not sure. You'll have to ask the Spurs fans that one. But when he got hold of that clearance from Raya and he controlled it and he put the ball past David Raya, I will credit the Spurs man for controlling the finish and putting it past him. I'll also credit how Raya responded to making the mistake. Because, and it's funny, isn't it? When we spoke about the clean sheet record away from home that David Raya has had, certainly over the last, 5 or 6 away games, particularly. But then it's funny how people want to jump at him after making one slight mistake. I think it's all about, football's all about, it's about margins. And Raya did make a little mistake, but it didn't affect his confidence. He still kept on coming up, claiming crosses. He kept on being confident in the back passes, etc., even after that happened. What do you say?
First of all, you didn't even let me give Havertz any credit for the third goal.
Okay, well, you can take the floor, mate. I'll turn this off for a minute. Go ahead.
It was a fantastic finish from Kai Havertz. Don't forget, he nearly scored 2 goals, but that one was ruled out for offside. That was early on in the game. But yeah, I'm very pleased with Kai Havertz. He scores 2 against Chelsea, and then he scores against Tottenham. So he's definitely on fine form at the moment, at the right time. And that's all I can ask for him. He's much better as a striker than he is as a midfielder, and we've seen that. And yeah, he's scored against Tottenham, which is what we love to see. Emerson says, credit goes to the set-piece coach on the first goal and Havertz's goal, as he would have looked at Tottenham's last few matches and told them to attack them on corners, as that was their weakest link. Yeah, potentially, and we did well on our set pieces. We actually haven't scored from a set piece before the Tottenham game for a long time. So I'm glad that we did that. We're getting back in the swing of things in terms of getting goals from set pieces. And that's a good thing. I don't know why people are displaying it as a negative. It's good that we're specialists in corners, because set pieces are quite important to the game. Now we'll talk about the goal that Spurs scored to get back in the game. It certainly came from out of nowhere, like an RKO. And I was actually, because I wasn't there in the stream because of many technical issues. I was on my phone replying to a text, and then I hear the commentator say, "Oh, it's a giveaway from Raya." I quickly look up, and there's Romero putting the ball in the net. And I was thought, in the immortal words of someone who I probably can't mention, what just happened? And there is 3-1. Tottenham are suddenly back in the game. This was, look, I know people say mistakes happen, but I'm sorry. It was very silly from Raya. I think Gabriel was right there to make a simple pass, but he didn't. Romero intercepted it in time, and he scored. It was unfortunate, but it was a reckless mistake from David Raya. And, I hope he doesn't make mistakes like that again. It's very rare that he does that. But I'm glad that was the only mistake he made. And he responded. He responded very well. We'll probably get to this in a minute. Hello, AFC Always. Good to see you. I was very intrigued. I say intrigued. I was very nervous to see how Raya would respond to the mistake he made. And I think ever since then, he claimed every cross that went in the box for Tottenham. He got there first every time. He actually responded better than I thought. So I want to give him huge credit for that. I think he knew that he made a costly mistake, and he rectified it superbly. So I do want to give Raya a lot of credit for that. AFC Always. Havertz played very well, as you can tell from me, because I've said his name instead of 29. If you watched my Football Manager video yesterday, I got rid of 29 as his nickname in tribute to his fine form in real life. He's not performing that well when I've given him a chance on FM, but I've removed his nickname. He's Kai Havertz again now.
It's Kai Havertz, and he's scored again.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable things. Right, let me just move that away. Right. Now, where do we want to go from here? Because at 3-1, it was almost like they got themselves back in the game.
Yeah.
Now, off the top of my head, it was almost, it felt like a momentum shift for me. I don't recall Arsenal doing an awful lot after that Spurs goal. And indeed, the only other thing I can really remember without having anything in front of me is the challenge which led to the penalty kick that in the last sort of stages of the game, just to make it a little bit interesting, if you like. Was there any argument for you if Declan Rice was definitely going for the balls? I mean, the ball.
You stole my joke. I was gonna say.
Yes.
I was gonna say. There's no. I was gonna say, why is that a penalty? Declan Rice got the balls, but no, you stole it there.
Sorry.
Look, I always said. I said even going 3-0 up into half time, I was still very nervous because we had 45 minutes left to go. And anything can happen, even at 3-0 up. Tottenham weren't going to lie down. It's a North London derby. They were going to really use that. No, they were going to use that high line with an advantage. And Romero being a striker, that's why he was up high on the pitch. It's the high line, mate.
The high line.
It was a hospital pass from Raya. And as I said, I had every right to be nervous because the moment Spurs will get a goal to get them back in the game, they were going to have the advantage and go on the front foot. And that's what they did. They made it very nervy. And, that was... look, it was a clear penalty. Safe to say Rice got the wrong ball. He got something else. And I think for me, even though it was on the edge of the box, it was just about in the box. And I think that was why they were checking VAR for it, because it was on the edge, wasn't it? It was on the edge of the box. But in my opinion, it was a stonewall penalty. And we only have ourselves to blame for this. And Heung-min Son scored a very great penalty. I think Raya went the right way, but I don't think he had a chance anyway. And last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Last 10 minutes. And our blood pressures were running wild. And Tottenham 2, Arsenal 3, gone from 3-0 up to 3-2 up. And I thought to myself, no, the Spursy torch cannot be passed here. Not like this.
Well, in fairness, it wasn't, because they did hold on. They managed to get the result at the end. And AFC Always says it, like I say in the comment. Raya did. Oh, I've taken over.
Raya did recover well from
mistake. But yeah, the last 20 minutes were a tad uncomfortable to watch. That's absolutely for certain. But we got through it. Now, and it's one of them we had to win. We had to win in a very tricky environment at White Hart Lane to keep pace with Manchester City. Of course, Manchester City managed to, after we'd done, managed to get the 2-0 win over Nottingham Forest. But what does it mean, Posh? What does it mean? I think us bringing up that result on Sunday keeps us in contention. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. It's worth noting that Man City are, I believe, 1 point behind us with a game in hand. That game in hand is against Tottenham, so that will be a really crucial game and interesting to see how that turns out. Even if we win all our games, if Man City win all their games, they win the league. So as long as we keep winning and put the pressure on, then that's always great. And as AFC always just said, at the business end of the season, performances go out the window. It's all about the 3 points. And I said this before the game. I don't care how we win it. I don't care how we win it against Spurs, as long as you get the 3 points. That's all that matters. But if you want
proof, any means necessary.
Yeah, if you want proof that Arsenal Football Club is a social experiment designing to cause huge impacts on people's blood pressure, then have a look at the last 10 minutes when the penalty was taken and it was Spurs 2, Arsenal 3, and we were holding on for dear life. Now, like I always said, I wanted to get the win. That was all that matters. But God, our blood pressure was as high as a kite, wasn't it? I hated the last 10 minutes. It was horrendous.
It was fun as a solo commentator, I'll have to tell you. But we got through it. I've just changed my lighting situation. Hopefully, the fireflies will help me out here a little bit. Everything that could possibly go wrong in this stream is probably going wrong. So, but never mind. But ultimately, it's all about picking up that 3 points. That's exactly what we did. Fair play to Man City picking up the away result. I still think there's a lot of results that go. Like we said, I saw enough of Tottenham, and I might get ridiculed for saying this, but I'm going to anyway. I saw enough out of Tottenham to say that they've certainly put a decent game out of Manchester City, and they're going to have to work to get the 3 points out of that away game. But we shall see. I intend to bring that one to our Gooner Gatherers live. I don't know if anyone else can do it. If need be, I will do it myself. But it'll be very interesting. There's a distinct difference for me in where we are now compared to where we were 12 months ago. In that Arsenal's momentum is keeping on going. Take the Aston Villa game away, of course. Yeah, we're going to get to the Jorginho story in a minute. Take the Aston Villa result away, which ultimately could cost us big time. But if you look for our calendar year fixtures, I think that you can't complain. They've done so well to keep that momentum up and keep win after win after win, more or less, especially away from home.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, worth noting for Tottenham and Man City. Look, Tottenham have beaten City before at their stadium, but let's not forget this is Man City at the business end of the season when they go into full Terminator mode. So this will be an interesting game to watch, and let's hope Spurs don't go full on Spursy in the first few minutes. But yeah, yeah, but we've got to keep winning. We've got to win our next 3 games. Obviously, the game at Old Trafford will be the toughest one. Well, they'll all be tough, really. We had to rely on a 97-minute winner to beat Bournemouth, and we've got them next. So we'll see what happens there.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully you'll be able to tell me, mate. If you're able to bring it and able to broadcast it live, we shall see. We'll talk about that off air. We'll see. But okay. So Man City have only scored one goal at Tottenham's new stadium. Does that give you any hope?
Would have been. These stats don't really mean anything. Doesn't it?
No, I thought my mic was bad just on Sunday. I'd never heard of that, mate. I'm sorry.
I said these stats don't really mean anything. It depends on what happens on the day.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. So, that pretty much. Is there anything else you want to bring up for the North London derby? Is there?
Other than I'm so glad that Spurs didn't get the equaliser, because we would not be having a conversation this calmly. I'm glad we didn't have our own Spursy moment. Should we get to the Jorginho contract news then?
Absolutely. So I see it. I mean, I think I may have spoken about this a little while ago. They're talking about the extension on Jorginho. Now, with his performances when he's come into the side, I think an experienced head in quite a young side does mean an awful lot. What do you think of the news that he's set to sign this at least, I think, a 1-year extension?
Yeah, look, we at some point we do need an upgrade on him, because he's not going to be here forever. And there's all these rumours about Thomas Partey going as well. I don't know. I think it's nice to keep him there at the moment, but I think there are positions that we need to strengthen that isn't the midfield. We will, if Partey goes, then we will definitely need a new midfielder, someone similar to him. But at the moment, I'm okay with Jorginho getting a contract extension for squad depth purposes, because he won't be a regular starter next season, providing everyone can stay fit. But for someone who can come on maybe for the last few minutes, controls the midfield, he can definitely get the job done. And I wouldn't say he's finished just yet. He can't play full 90 minutes though.
Yeah, I agree. He's what is he now? 32, I believe. But when he has featured, he has had crucial roles to play. The Liverpool game comes to mind straight away. So having an experienced head amongst a very young squad, yeah, absolutely. I think it makes a lot of sense. Looking at this, yeah, I've read about this. It's I think that pretty much sums up the North London derby thing. I was just reading up on it a wee while ago. Yes, my Scottish coming out a little bit there. The Academy news and the under-21 fixtures. They're in action in this new playoff system this Friday against Manchester United under-21 side. For information, check the website. And the under-18s are in action on Saturday. We'll have to see if Timber gets more minutes. Now, I believe Timber managed to get a good chunk of play in his legs just before the North London derby. I believe he played about 70-odd minutes as he continues his recovery from his ACL. I might be a tad surprised if he makes it into anywhere near the first team at this stage of the season, being that there's only about 4 games left, I think. But encouraging to see that he is getting the minutes back. He will probably have an extensive post-season as well. I don't know how much up you are with the under-21 players and what goes on with the academy. But there is someone I do want to talk about a little bit. Now,
I think I might know where you're going with this.
Yes, I think you do. I might ask you to bring up the name that I'm going to talk about because as I've just set up my phone as my lighting set up because my lights up above me are too bright. I might ask you to bring the name up because I brought it up in the WhatsApp group. But I think it is well worth talking about the possibility of Arsenal making a big decision in the transfer window. And that decision would be perhaps maybe selling my boy, my hero, Eddie Nketiah, to promote a young lad who's made a name of himself over this season in the academy ranks. This young man has, given the Liverpool youngsters a heck of a bad night's sleep or two, I would imagine. What are your thoughts? You know who I'm talking about. If you could bring his name up and tell me what your thoughts are.
Well, look, we do need a striker, and I've said before, Nketiah is definitely going to have to be the fall guy because I'm sorry, he's not good enough. And look, I do know the player that scored 6 or 7 goals over the weekend. But if you want me to be brutally honest, it doesn't make a difference because Arteta does not promote academy players. Unfortunately, I can't see him having a future at Arsenal, unfortunately, because Arteta does not like academy play. He doesn't use them. The only time he's used one is Wanyeri, and that was out of peer pressure against West Ham. That's sadly the truth there.
Oh, is that the case? Is that the case? Okay. I thought we might have a nice stream where we wouldn't disagree on anything here, but maybe.
Well, wishing for someone to.
I'll step back. Carry on.
I think wishing for someone from the Arsenal academy to have regular appearances under Arteta is wishful thinking, I'm afraid, because Arteta doesn't want to use academy players in mostly any capacity, apart from Wanyeri out of peer pressure against West Ham when we were winning 6-0. So I can't really see, even if he scored 10 goals against Liverpool, I can't see any academy player being used in the first team squad under Arteta.
Okay. Right.
Because if Arteta was our manager, Bukayo Saka wouldn't have been given a chance. It was Unai Emery that did that.
Yeah, I'm still of the belief that that wouldn't have made any difference at all. I'm sure Saka would have got into the side. In fact, if ESR managed to keep himself injury free, I'm pretty sure he would have gone in as well. What's Emerson?
Emerson says spot on with Arteta with the academy. A few of them should have got minutes.
Well,
including referencing one Kozia Dubry, I think.
Who got a brace over the weekend, if I'm not mistaken. And he actually looked like Saka Mark II. Actually, if you've seen any of that.
Okay. Well, I'm pleased that he's doing well in the academy. Yeah.
But I kind of hoped you would bring the name up, but I'm not sure you have. So I'm going to try and.
Oh, I can't. It was like Obi, I think. That was his name.
You know when there are moments where nothing is actually going to go right? WhatsApp can't restart on my phone now, so that's good. Never mind. It doesn't matter. What I will say is that if you're good enough, you will will go forward and get into the academy, or from the academy to the first team, I should say. So interesting. I mean, I was trying to read up a little bit on what Emerson's talking about in terms of the new playoff sort of situation that we have got going on. I'll certainly keep an eye on what's going on that. But I suppose it's probably right for us to sort of bring our attention forward to the weekend, I guess.
Just one more thing. AFC always wants to ask, what do you make of Premier League clubs voting for a spending cap?
Right. Okay. So from what I'm understanding, spending cap, this is to do with the wages, I think, of the players.
I think so.
And from my understanding, it's not a hard cap on the players' wages, etc. I know the PFA had something to say on that once the statement came out the other day. I know one Jimmy Hill back in the day was very sort of putting any caps along the players' wages. Look, as it's something that doesn't necessarily concern me, I don't know if I know enough to comment too much about it. But I'll say that the professional footballer's career only goes a very short time. I do understand a bit of capping in some way. It's almost like the same sort of situation when you talk about transfer fees, etc., which I believe are getting way out of control.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's funny when Arsenal, for example, if we give our club the spotlight for a second, when we go and spend £100 million plus on Declan Rice, how a lot of the fan base, including maybe some of us on the channel, were saying, oh, let's go and buy a striker. Let's go and do that straight away. Boom. Come on, Edu, go and do that right now. When realistically, you can't go and spend all that money in one go because financial fair play doesn't allow it. That's kind of my response.
Okay. Chidozie Obi Martin is his name.
Yeah.
You have to wait until he turns 17 in November when he signs his first pro contract, as everyone is building him up, and he needs to run in the under-21s next season.
Yeah, and I actually agree with that because you can get a big reputation, which will all of a sudden put a lot of pressure on a young man's shoulders, and you probably don't need that. In all fairness, what is noticeable is this. Oh, am I still here, Posh?
Yep, you are.
I'm not. I can't see a thing. My screen's gone completely white. Oh no! Right.
I can see
if you can hear me, great.
I can hear you as well.
Do. Excellent. So we've seen it before in academy graduates, etc., that can come in. People know of. I remember people like Ettore Lulli, the Italian, who never, scored a lot of goals in the academy ranks, but never got their opportunity. You're right. This is back in an era you probably can't remember, but yeah, you can get a reputation and you can build him up without him getting the proper grounding. If he's as young as that and he's only turns 17 in November, you probably do want to think about putting the brakes on it. I still kind of stand by what it said regarding Nketiah, though, and I'll go another way on it, if you like, because I think the guy has got enough talent to go on the football field and score some goals, get some playing time somewhere. But I don't necessarily think it's going to be Arsenal for him. I do think, as much as I lift up the gimmick for a good part of 2 years or something. In all fairness, I always said, and you can go back to Cannon Chatter videos when I talk about him signing the new contract, that ultimately, he signed the contract, but he ended up not being. So he would have had a transfer fee at the end of the day. So if you couldn't command a first team spot, which clearly he hasn't done, he's only had a handful of substitute appearances during the season, really, and even less amount of starts. There's only, I probably could count on one hand how many starts the guy's had for his career. He probably does need to move out.
Yes, I think he does, because he's not getting a start in the Arsenal first team, and he's, I think he needs to move on, and we do need a better striker. Striker should be the main position we should look for next season. So yeah.
So with that being said, Posh, the big question that I will ask you as an expert journalist that I know you are, who's the name that you want to bring in?
Well, at the moment, it's a choice of three. It's between Ivan Toney, Ollie Watkins, or Alexander Isak.
Okay. I can get behind two of the three. The one I'd like to go for, my primary target would be Isak at Newcastle. Although I do think if Arsenal were to go for anyone over Newcastle, it might be another player.
Yes.
It might.
Yes.
So you probably know where I'm going to go with that. And Eddie Howe was quite accommodating, shall we say, in what he was saying about his contract situation. And that Bruno Guimaraes has got Guimaraes, sorry. Look, Paul Merson's taught me everything I need to know about pronunciation, right? So, Bruno, not Frank. Contract, and San Martino, yes, good point. Sorry, good show. Emerson's saying in the chat, good show. I will go for it. The fee will be the stumbling block. Yeah, I think it might be. But we may be able to do some selling. That's kind of what I was getting back a moment ago when I was talking about Nketiah. If they were to sell him, perhaps they might use some of the potential transfer fee to add on to what they might go for with Isak. I think Isak's a great fit. Put it like this. He worked well on my Football Manager or Retro Football Manager that I've been playing off air. And so I don't see why he doesn't go for him. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm clearly joking here, guys. It's very different. There's a big difference, isn't there, by playing computer games and having real life football?
Yeah,
isn't there?
Yeah. Believe me, I should know that.
Exactly. I can't wait to see Arsenal recall Kieran Tierney, to be fair.
Yeah, that's what they should do. Arteta should have him as his first choice left back next season, but he's not going to do that, I'm afraid.
No, in the words of Chris, we're not going to give you that. But again. One with the transfer discussions to think about. What are your thoughts on Bruno? Do you think that's a good shout for Arsenal?
I think he's a decent player, absolutely. I think he's one to think about if we're not going to get Isak, then He'll be a good midfielder to have. I think we'll discuss it more when the transfer window fully opens, because these are all rumours and speculations. Like, there's a tweet that I saw that
the obvious line.
There's a tweet that I saw that said we were going to go for Marcus Rashford, which I don't really believe. But yeah,
I have seen that. I had seen that. I mean, if you want to replace one struggling England striker for another, we could do. I'm not sure it will go down well.
Like, oh, look how Arteta has done with Havertz. They're treating Havertz like he's a 20-plus goal a season striker. Well, no, I don't think. I would rather go for a striker that's guaranteed to be a prolific goal scorer consistently. I don't want any of these like project players anymore. I want a clinical striker this time.
Right. Is there ever any guarantees in football? Nah. Don't work like that, does it?
No, but if you had your way, you'd have Eddie Nketiah in the starting 11 in every game. So
don't come at me with that after I've just said what I've just said.
Yes, I know, but yeah, look, these are all like rumours and innuendo at the moment. So when the transfer window properly opens, I think that's when the rumours will start being a bit more obvious. That's what I'll say to those things.
I agree. I agree on that. There'll certainly be a few players I can think of off the top of my head that will certainly be looking for a move. There might be other sort of microphone stands and other bits of equipment that might be wanting to make a move as we go towards the summer as well. But
Havertz has scored more Premier League goals for Arsenal than Richarlison in his 2 seasons at Tottenham. Let's get Richarlison at Arsenal. Why not?
Flipping heck. Holy
that was a joke, by the way. That's a joke.
I know.
No way in hell he's coming.
I'll get editing later on that clip. Anyway. Look, I think I'm going to kind of think about sort of bringing this to a sort of a close in very shortly. All I will say is anyone who's still with us who haven't given us a subscribe on the YouTube channel or followed us on Twitch, indeed, please do that and hit that like button. Certainly on the YouTube channel will make a heck of a difference. Posh, you are asking for a death wish on saying about Richarlison. It was a joke. It was a joke, Emerson. It's okay.
It was a joke. Don't worry. I'm built on sarcasm. It's fine.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to go for a little bit of
to be fair, I would rather have Richarlison in the starting 11 than Eddie Nketiah.
Interesting. I do like Richarlison, surprisingly, despite he is a bit of a something stirrer. But I kind of admire that in a striker. Kind of reminds me of a little bit like Ian Wright was, because he often caused a bit of trouble. But you know, that's the one. Rather keep not. All right, so I'm going to kind of try and wrap this up very shortly. 2 things I need to talk about rather on a personal level, if you don't mind. Now, normally when I come on these YouTube streams, particularly, I have a whole heap of notes. I have lots of things to refer to and all that sort of stuff. These last couple of days have been a bit difficult because I've had to take my daughter over to hospital just to get herself checked out. Everything is all good, thankfully. But you know, hence the reason I couldn't do anything yesterday. I was at our local medical facility, if you want, so I couldn't do that. And today I have just spent a good couple of hours at my grandmother's house, who is 96 tomorrow. and she's gone through an awful time over her health over the last couple of months. So I want to say a big happy birthday to my Nana May, bless her. And I'll clip that and show that to my Auntie Marilyn, bless her. It's been an interesting couple of months, I'll say that much. So if I'm not as well prepared as I normally am, that's the reason why. But I will say big thank you to everybody who has been in our stream this evening. I'm not sure when we're going to resurface again, Posh. We may resurface potentially on Friday when the press conferences come over, when we're talking about the pre-match for the Bournemouth game. I'm not going to make any promises to anybody here live regarding the weekend's football, other than the fact that I will almost pencil in covering Wolves versus Manchester City myself on Saturday night. If any of the team can cover Arsenal against Bournemouth, I'll be very grateful for anyone who's doing that. Okay, so AFC always in the chat with a very, very nice message to my Nana May. It was your missus's granddad's birthday yesterday. 95. Wow! Happy birthday to your granddad's to your missus' granddad. That's amazing. What a coincidence that is, eh? Is there anything else you want to say or promote or anything like that, Bertie, before we hit the end stream button?
I think at some point this week I might do another Football Manager episode, maybe either tomorrow or Thursday. Who knows? I might be up for another FM video because I made the triumphant return last time, and it's fair to say it went very well. There he is. Look at him. It went very well. Lots of great results. We're on a roll at the moment. Like Mr. on Sunday, we're on a roll, and it's fantastic. Going to be. I'm looking forward to whenever the next episode is. Hopefully, some point this week. Other than that, that's all I've got to promote. Apart from the social media handles.
Absolutely. Well, let's do that, and then I can get out of here and see how my little girl's getting on with her dinner. It's been an interesting week or two, certainly in my household, and this is the point where all my banners and everything go wrong. There you go. I think Bertie might have hit it.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably hit it, so it'll go again.
I'm going to do it again. You can follow me on Twitter at Posh Bertie. My Instagram is at Bertie Wanless. And I also run the Gooner Gathering's official Instagram account at Gooner Gathering. I don't have various arguments with people on Instagram rather than someone does on Twitter. So I'm all right on that one.
Fair play. Maybe we can talk about that off stream. But of course, you can find me at Julie Meads on X. It's called Posh. It's called X, not Twitter. Yeah. And of course, at Gooner Gathering. And of course, you can check out Gooner Gathering on TikTok for them fun little clips that I can put up with all the fun music and stuff like that. Particularly for the live matches, that's a lot of fun. But until we resurface again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching us. And we shall see you very shortly indeed. Come on, the Arsenal, the title chart.